Okay, so we are Plus TV Africa, and this is Today with John and Helen Live. Can you feel, can you touch the excitement and expectations of the new year? I can, John.
You can.
Yes, I can.
Okay, I
so
can
welcome
too.
back to your weekly lifestyle, family business show, and much, much more. We are intentional and about impacting your life in so many positive ways. Yes,
So,
we are.
I just want to say thanks for being there. Next on the program, we're going into a very important issue of climate change and the environmental sanitation during the festive season and even into the new year.
Yeah. And it is a fact that Lagos State, in spite of its large population, everyone is in Lagos, continues to lead other states in the area of sanitation. To represent the number one citizen of the state here today is an accomplished administrative, executive, and change management leader with almost 3 decades of experience in senior management roles. Our guest is a passionate advocate for youth empowerment and strong leadership with communities. John.
Yes, we have Titi Oshodi, Deputy Chairman of the Public Policy and Advocacy Committee on the Governing Council of CIPM, a leader who is focused on mobilizing the youth for positive change through character education. Currently, the Special Advisor to the Lagos State Governor, or to Lagos State on climate change and circular economy. Circular economy. She'll explain what that is to us in a minute. So let's welcome Titi Oshodi as we take a critical look at environmental sanity during festive seasons and beyond. Hello and welcome. I can call you Titi, yes?
Yes, absolutely.
Even as, regardless of if I come from the seat of government.
Power.
We're all human beings first, and individuals and citizens of the state first, before public service, you know. So, and we return back into the community as well. So,
from where we come.
From where we come.
Thank you so much for
Absolute
making
pleasure
time
to be
out
here.
to be here today.
Thank you so much.
Compliments
for
of
having
the season.
me. Absolutely the same to you as well. I hope work isn't taking you too far away.
Mba.
Well, we've tried to not make it.
All right, do I take the first shot?
Well, they say ladies first after
the guys.
after gentlemen.
All right. So, why is environmental sanity particularly crucial during the Christmas holiday, especially in a densely populated state like we have?
It's very important that we put things into perspective. The Yuletide festive season is a very, very potent period for extra pressure on the environment. From various angles, if we're talking about waste, then we know that even with Lagos, we're generating over 25 to 30% increase in waste during the festive period due to packaging, you know, decorations, and you know all of the
events
food
everywhere,
consumption,
that we eat, consumption. You know, so it's important that we put some of these things into context. You know, our wrapping paper, our packages that we use, you know, in transporting various items across border. You know, ordinarily we have about 10,000 tons of plastic packaging that are discarded, you know, during Christmas period. And if you also need to put it into context, you will see that within our population of about 21 million, we have about 30% of our households using 10 meters of wrapping paper during Christmas, and they amount to about 63,000 kilometers of wrapping paper.
Okay, that really paints the picture.
Yes, and if we really want to then, you know, put it back into our everyday, we would say that that is enough to circle Lagos perimeter more than 1,000 times. Those are some of the figures that we have been able to pull. So it's a significant portion of paper
that is jaw-dropping.
that is non-recyclable, you know, because those wrapping papers have glitter, they have color, they're not biodegradable.
We'll come to that, because quite frankly, I want to like pretend that I don't,
And the water
that I don't
bottles.
know. And it's a good thing you're here
Yes.
to spell out some of these things to us. Now tell us, what specific environmental challenges does Lagos face during, I mean, not only during this season.
You know that LOMA, the Waste Management Authority,
Yes.
typically handles about 14,000 tons of daily waste on a daily.
On a daily
On a
basis?
daily, yes. During Christmas, it increases to over 30%.
Wow.
Food is, there's serious level of overconsumption. There is gifting, there is wrapping, there is a lot of movement on the roads. So there's a lot of carbon emission, through that period. There's a lot of traveling as well. This particular year has been phenomenally notable. I think that Lagos has really risen. Kudos to the various ministries, especially the Ministry of Tourism, that is beginning to propagate tourist attraction,
Yes.
drive a lot of engagement and interaction
Yeah.
with the diaspora, in terms of our culture, in terms of
Yes.
celebrating
Yes.
what is uniquely ours, the coastal city, so the Lagos Boat Regatta was a very, very
Yeah,
formidable
I saw that on TV.
opportunity to showcase and exhibit our waters
Yeah.
and the marine,
Splendor.
treasures and splendor that we have. We have gotten so many reviews from diaspora, from the foreign constituents who have said, what is happening in Lagos? Lagos seems to be the next port of, a tourist center and, attraction. So, and it's going to get even bigger for next year. And all of this, migration back into Lagos at a particular period of time speaks to not only transportation, it speaks into power, it speaks into energy, it speaks into food, food security, it speaks into commerce, So at the end of the day, it is the earth that takes in all of this pressure, and there has to be a way for us to be able to level up and balance out this pressure.
Okay, so Titi, let me play devil's advocate here. I'm going to attempt to take you out of your office and on a personal level. Let's talk about this. Urban centers, yes, a lot of what you've talked about would fit. There are certain areas, remote areas in Lagos, where we still see insanity
Okay.
in terms of discipline, in terms of disposal of our personal waste. Do you want to just speak to that a bit?
Yes, because we know over a period of time that government has really done a lot in terms of helping people to get more understanding on how to segregate their waste.
Yes.
When we started to talk about climate change and using that as a function of helping people to see why they should segregate that waste, there was a bit of a dysfunction because not a lot of people can derive the essence of how they manage their waste as a result of the impact of climate change.
Yeah.
They don't
They can't
directly
relate.
They can connect.
They don't directly connect, But when we then started to talk about how you can flip it around
Yeah.
and gain economically by managing your waste, it became more tangible for people to relate with.
So I
And-
can gain economically
Yes.
from my waste?
Absolutely. And the reason why we have used that as a strategy and as an approach is because we know that for the people in the communities, at the bottom of the pyramid, the economic argument prevails over every other.
Oh, yes.
Right?
That's
True.
And so if you want to get that change in behavior, then you must angle the benefit from an economic perspective.
Yes.
So a kilogram of plastic PET bottles right now at the market rate goes for about 600 naira at the
Okay.
minimum, right? Depending on the material recovery enterprise that
Okay.
you are working with, that you're interchanging with.
Okay.
So PET bottles have their value, paper have their value, cardboard have their value, textile have their value,
Okay.
right? And now we're beginning to have that direct interaction so that we're able to establish the linkage between businesses who are recovering materials, who are collection centers, collection people, we can get them to be positioned in communities so that there is that direct interaction and accessibility for community members to do business, to trade. Some of the things that we have done in 2024 in our office is to simulate the ideals, to simulate the possibilities of this commercial endeavor, so that not only the community members can get to start understanding that their waste is a resource in transition, but we're also giving access to market for businesses to say that there are certain communities, as low end as they may be, you can actually position yourselves as collection centers and begin to harness these wastes that are generated within communities. Going into 2024, our plan is to
25.
cascade, 2025, sorry. Our plan is to cascade a campaign, you know, from the schools to the faith-based organizations, you know, because they have influencers that are seated within them, who are strong in word so that the word of mouth can go. There's nothing as fast as saying that you can incentivize people to do what they would typically not do. Sorting waste and segregating waste is a lot of work. It has to be, there's a level of intentionality with it. But if you want me to do it and I know that I'm going to get something extra into my pocket, I can generate revenue into my pocket, then I will take the pain to do it. And that's the angle that we're taking.
You're getting
awesome.
wait.
Awesome, awesome. Are you gonna you're gonna get your house to be a collection center? It's possible.
At the end of the day, what's in it for me?
Yes.
You know, it matters. Do you know what happens? All my I buy, you know, water.
Yes, water in bottles.
There's a particular lady down
That
my
picks them up.
street who has told, she even brings me bags that please, daddy,
To put
don't
them
throw
neatly
just keep
there.
this. So now that I know that a kilogram is worth 600 naira,
Yes.
or maybe we'll start sharing this. It's waste to wealth.
All right, going through
Waste to wealth.
going through your passion, your CV, we looked at the aspect that you're very passionate and you're an advocate, you know, for youth empowerment, you know, education and all of that. So this is what the Lagos State government has been doing and plans to continue to do in the new year. What practical steps can the young ones, can everybody in Lagos who has heard you and probably gets as interested as John, you know, what practical steps can they take to maximize environmental footprint during seasons like this and beyond, especially managing food waste and packaging? It's not enough to hear you tell us what you're planning to do. How can we incorporate, how can we be moved from this point to the point so that we can achieve results?
So a lot of our plans and our framework is, you know, designed around the youth demographic, because we know clearly that they're the ones that would be able to influence. We also know from statistics that we have a very strong ratio that are still within the unemployment bracket. And we also know that they're the ones that are embracing and radical enough to be able to infuse the sort of technology and innovation that we need to replicate and scale these ideas. So from our communication angle, we have designed, you know, areas, communities and strategies that involve the passion points of the young ones. See, they have, you know, entertainment, singing, dancing, arts and craft, you know, the fashion, you know, food, culinary, acting, you know. So we want to begin to drive climate literacy as a narrative into mainstream, using these passion points to connect with the youth demographic. We also want to be able to do a lot of green technology for innovators and founders. We have what we call the EBN network. It's the Economy Business Network. At this, as of today, it sits about 500 business enterprises, nano and micro. These are young people who have seen, you know, possibilities of them being able to develop business operations within the recycling, upcycling, repurposing area of waste management. And so we want to be able to, develop them. So what we do is provide business support. We provide access to funding because as a government, the governor has worked so hard in ensuring that we have financial institutions that are also beginning to talk about providing green bonds.
Awesome.
Access Bank is already in that conversation with Lagos State. So the circular economy is a strong pillar that we want to be able to utilize and optimize for our enterprises, our business enterprises, so that they can have access to fund. They can also have access to market. These communities that we're beginning to sensitize, once they begin to know that their waste is something that is of value, that they can begin to repurpose for their own, revenue generation, the market is ready. The businesses, pipelined from the private sector can also have the structure in place to be able to embrace and be able to run commercial operations within the communities. All of these representations are targeted for the youth demographic.
Good.
Yeah.
Not for you.
No, certainly.
But he has a role that he can play as well.
Certainly, I'm going to start making some money from this. But now, more importantly, I'm looking at the communication now because we don't want to assume that everybody's at the same literacy level. Okay, I want you to tell us, break it down to us, how you, in terms of breaking down the demographics regarding the communication, how do you intend to reach the different people at different levels and different places?
So it's pretty much like a pyramid.
Yes.
And you have the mass market, you have the real volume of numbers in the lowest ebb. From what we discussed, and so far, 2024, I think we've been able to reach a good level within the middle class level, getting them to understand that waste is inevitably useful for you. The reason why we have touched on some really critical areas within the bottom of the pyramid is because they're driven very much around emotions. Yes. So that's why the faith-based organization is a very strong approach for us. Yes. Both Christian and Muslims have leaders, influencers who sort of, mobilize the thought process, mobilize the direction of the choices that they make. We are glad to say that we have been able to harness the interest of one of the leaders within the church, within the faith-based organization in the church, with various expressions, and they also have very strong positioning within the Christian Africa, the Christian Association of Nigeria. So when we start to simulate areas like our Eco-Circulate program, Eco-Circulate is essentially a program that teaches people how they can, it's like a waste drive, essentially. We have also been able to establish interrelativity between ministries. So even if you can get your waste for cash, you can also get your waste in subsidized social amenity.
Okay.
There are partnerships with the Ministry of Transportation. So the Cowrie card represents an avenue for you to be able to get discount, whether on the rail or on the waterways, or you can get your waste in exchange for that.
Smart thing.
Yes, you can also, and these are ways that we want to also optimize that level of technology as well. You can get it in exchange for a discount in your health insurance policy. We also have a card in Lagos, by Lagos State Health, the social health scheme. You can get a discount on your health policy. You can get a discount. You can get access, with the Ministry of Agriculture. you know, if you're going to the shop. So we're trying to create that intermodal and that integrated service such that we're not just reducing exchange of value from a cash perspective, but we're also leveraging technology, you know, and you can find whatever is suitable for you at each point in time. If you say that you want your waste to be used as recharge card for you, that can be available.
Wow.
If you want it to be able to move from point A to B, you know, that can be available. Ultimately, what we're driving is your waste does not get onto the dump site. And number two, we're reducing the carbon emission, you know, as much as possible. And above all, we're creating value by driving economic propensity.
Brilliant.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, I'm sure, I think a couple of people listening to you or watching you now will think policy statements and implementation and, you know, the involvement of citizens and their understanding of how everybody can come on board, you know, to help you or help us achieve this aim. So I am also thinking, you talked about the faith-based centers. I'm thinking, since you talked about the arts, you know, for the young ones, I'm looking at COSOM, I'm looking at the PMAN, you know, and all of these organizations that embrace, you know, the entertainment industry, so to speak. For me, time is almost running out, and I have really, I have been informed, because initially before we came on here, I was saying, when you talk about climate change, you know, it's like abstract. Please don't bring us into this. We don't have any part in it. But you've been able to break it down and to let us see how important it is that all of us understand it from our own small level, right from the homes, right from when we're peeling our yams, when we're boiling the rice, when we're cooking the large meals for Christmas, the emission of, you know, firewood cooking and all of that, all that it comes to. So I'd like to say thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, I'm really awestruck, because it's like discovering gold. You know, and
you're about the money.
Yeah, I am
about the opportunities.
And that's what a lot of people are about.
About
the money as well.
Awesome.
You know, and that's what drives the passion for us as well.
So how do we reach you? How do we?
Our office is open. We receive emails.
There's a website.
Yes, there's a website.
Platform.
OCCLagos.org, right? And we always upload information. All of the projects that we run right now are all there on the website. We have our emails, info@occlagos.org, and we always respond to those messages because we know that if we're community centric, then we must ensure that there's as much accessibility as possible. Sometimes with communities, what they need differ. You know, so we need to continue to customize solutions that address environmental sustainability, but more importantly, economic benefits, so that we're able to hit that Governor Sanwo-Olu's target of reduced carbon emission by 2030.
Great.
It will happen.
And such a brilliant
It will
ambassador.
happen. It will happen. You know.
And thanks for all of that you've been doing to help the climate.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
The matter of environmental cleanliness cannot be emphasized. It's so important, and it impacts all the aspects of our lives.
Exactly.
So we are grateful to you for filling in the blanks.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Once again, a very special gift there that you have given to us in this season, and to all our viewers. We appreciate your time and your perspective. And may Lagos State continue to lead in this and other areas in the new year. Thank you once again. I got something really awesome. And, you know, when you said waste is wealth in transit, that one has stuck in my brain. So I'm going to look for waste everywhere, you know, so that the wealth aspect is no longer in transit, but I catch it.
That's the idea.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, so we're moving on. And when we come back from this break, we will meet our last guest. We'll take
for the year.
Yeah, our last guest for the year. Awesome. Please don't go away. It's Today with John and Helen live. We love you.